What's up, patrons of the Lock 22 Network? It's your boy Gobo Moran here with season 3 of NFHell. I'm here with my fellow host and dear friend Dames Marvs.
Yep.
Dames, how are you, my friend?
Uh,
And
I'm ready, man.
I
That's
was going to say it has been entirely too long without a little bit of NFL football. So, going into our third season, you will notice a few differences, namely the absence of G Man Jazz and our former host, Midwest Jet. We are very sorry to lose them. They are pursuing other creative projects. We always appreciate their contributions to the show and wish them well. They are still our dear friends, but will not be joining us. Maybe they will pop in for a guest spot. Who knows what the future holds? But that doesn't mean that we don't have football and nonsense to deliver to you, our beloved viewers. So,
just not quite as much nonsense.
I was going to say the nonsense quotient, I'm going to have to really ramp it up this
I
season.
was like,
So,
we eliminated by those guys bowing out. We eliminated 80% of the
I was
nonsense.
like, yeah, it's like a 45% drop in shenanigans. I mean, quantifiable statistics. We'll see. We'll let the network people worry about all that. But what we're here to worry about is wildly inaccurate football predictions, which are our specialty. So before we get into our weekly picks, our division preview, we're going to talk about some news. So, first thing on the chopping block, Brandon Aiyuk, 49ers receiver, held out all of training camp. Um, I know that this guy is a hot topic because he is always very mean to your Seattle Seahawks. Um, so he does sign a contract, 4 years, 130 million, makes him like the third or fourth highest paid receiver in the NFL. Um, Interestingly enough, it was the offer that's been on the table since like August 3rd, and he could have accepted it and gone to training camp. So, James, tell me, like, what do you think was his mentality for holding out, knowing he was going to take that contract?
They had they had to give it to him. Maybe he had something that he wanted to do instead of camp. Maybe he feels like he's already prepared. Maybe he's just trying to dodge an injury. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, he's coming in healthy. He might be a few weeks behind as far as catching up to the speed of the game. But I think his ego probably doesn't believe that for a second. I think he thinks he's ready to go. What I'm happy about is he's my least favorite of the two receivers over there, and they put a whole lot of money into him, and they got a whole lot of money going elsewhere, which means that they don't have a lot of money to keep some of those other key pieces that make them. What's good about the 49ers is they're deep.
Mm-hmm.
You got a deep roster. And when you spend money like that, your depth tends to suffer. And once those guys get winded, especially when you didn't go to camp, I mean, you're going to feel that on the back end. So I'm okay with it.
It's going to be tough. I think early season, I don't know how much it affects the Niners because are so highly talented. But when you get in those dog days, when you look at those playoffs and you're going against, top tier defenses, corners that are going to hit you every single play. I mean, that's where that mentality, that stamina works itself in. Um, here's what I have to say is that like Ayuk, this is kind of what and I don't want to like suck off the 49ers too bad here, but I think it's just they create a good team culture that makes players want to stay. Because I heard that Ayuk had more competitive offers from the Browns, from the Steelers, and from the Patriots, but he chose to take a lesser contract and stay in San Francisco. Um, it's kind of a double-edged sword because it's just like if he knew he was staying, why didn't he go to training camp? So it's like, yeah, it's just did he want to go to Aruba with his girlfriend or some shit? Like, yeah, is it just he was just blowing off camp or I don't know. Either way, he's going to
I
be on the
mean,
field week
the,
one.
the best way to look at it is he doesn't have a contract. If he goes into camp and gets hurt, he doesn't get anything. I mean,
Yeah,
depending on the seriousness of the injury. So if you look at it from that, and I'm sure that's the hill that he was dying on.
right.
So
I mean, it's possible. I don't know. I think he's never. It's one of those things too. Is like the players are never going to be just outwardly forthcoming on like why their mentality was the way that it was. So I mean, it'll be a little cryptic with Aiyuk. We'll see how his season turns
Well,
out.
they called his bluff, to be fair. They're like, we're not offering you anymore. You can miss games if you want, and that's pay. That's even if we raise your paycheck, you missed out on a game check. So
Right.
and so he finally he's like, oh, all right. They're
Yeah.
like, we're
I
we,
mean, that's
we're good
true.
without you. So
I mean, that's true. Maybe that's the secret. I mean, NFL GMs who definitely don't watch this show, maybe listen to that. Is that if you stand your ground and show a little backbone to these players, maybe they take a lesser deal to stay on the team. You have to develop that winning culture.
well, and just to speak on Seattle a little bit, I heard Geno Smith has come forward and asking for a con. He's got 2 years left on his deal that he signed, and everyone thought he'd be gone by now, but he's like, dude, I'm watching all these other guys. I need more.
I mean,
So
he's produced more than he has been, but I mean, is he in the same conversation as these guys who are going to get the kind of contract that he wants?
he's gonna have to prove it on the field with a new coach. So
Right. Yeah, new coach, new season. We'll see how he does. It's the beauty of the NFL is we really don't actually know what's going to happen. Um, so a little less cryptic though when it comes to receiver contracts. Oh my goodness. So Justin Jefferson, um, and his counterpart, his LSU counterpart over in Cincinnati, has demanded that he get a contract one penny better than his buddy Justin Jefferson's, and I think it's hilarious.
I mean, think about it. Think about this. Justin Jefferson might be the best receiver in the game right now. He might be.
Definitely top five.
He's got some issues at quarterback this year, so
That's
we
pretty
don't
fucking
know
ridiculous.
quite how that's going to go. But I mean, Joe Burrow's no slouch, dude. Jamar Chase asking for this is kind of like a nudge at Justin Jefferson. He's saying, "I want one penny more." Can you imagine if he gets a contract with one penny more? How insufferable it will be to hang out with him.
I mean, I don't have Cincinnati's financial books in front of me. I'd give it to him. He's great. He's the best player on their offense.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I would work hard to keep him on the team because you know that there's another team out there, a shit team like the Browns or the Patriots that would totally give it to him.
Yep.
So, all right. So, getting away from contracts, we have the NFL week is starting this year. We have our Thursday opener, which is tomorrow night, and then we have our Friday game featuring my Green Bay Packers traveling for a road game, but not in the city of brotherly love, but the Cuidad de Amor de Hermanos, Sao Paulo, Brazil,
Whoa.
to play the Eagles. So I said that in Spanish. I know they speak Portuguese down there. Don't at me. But first ever game in South America. I was gonna say it's you know what? I'm pretty sure they understood. Um, so that's also why I'm wearing white after Labor Day, is because you can't wear green in Brazil, apparently. So who knows what the uniform selection is gonna be? Apparently that was a tweet by Brandon Jacobs and that they weren't allowed to wear green. The NFL has come out and said that is incorrect. The teams will be wearing their normal uniforms. So football in Brazil, what do you think?
Oh, it's like bumblebees?
I know. Oh my God, just both the retros. So it looks like yeah, it just looks like the 40s. Everyone's smoking on the sideline.
I mean, you're right. This should be in a coastal city. Um, uh, is it going to happen? We don't know. Uh, as of now, I mean, we haven't heard anything. So
Yeah. Well, and as of Friday, there were
game on.
still uncontrollable wildfires in Sao Paulo. So like,
Game on.
yeah,
Uh,
there's the city's extremely smoky. They've had a huge intake of people checking into hospitals with respiratory issues, and now they're going to bring two NFL teams down there. Seems like a huge liability to me.
yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see if the game actually gets played or if it goes down like a tie or whatever. But I'm happy to see my Packers on national broadcast. I hope the game goes well. I hope it's a good one because they're great teams. Clearly, two playoff bound teams.
Well, and I need to see that game on Friday,
Right.
if
What else are we doing on Friday?
I'm being honest.
Yeah, like going out and like seeing friends? No way. Football season. Um. Okay. So I can't believe we're talking about the Giants because now that Jazz is gone, I feel like this subject should be eradicated from our lineup. But Malik Neighbors, Giants' first overall pick, has been destroying it in training camp. The guy is unbelievably talented. Another LSU receiver. These guys, they don't miss. And he decided on a jersey number. He wanted to wear number one, which has since been retired by the New York Giants. Not only was it the first number retired by the Giants, it was the first number retired in NFL history. And they're unretiring it so Malik Neighbors can wear it. Is he that good?
Look, I can already tell you what Jazz would say. This guy's a rookie, dude.
He has zero
Rookie
snaps
ain't
played.
shit. I don't care what you did in camp. I mean, think about Nebraska. You don't even get a black shirt jersey on week one. Even if you were last year, that doesn't come back. And they're talking about unretiring, or they have
They
unretired this
unretired it.
number.
He the number one jerseys have been printed.
I think it's absurd.
Pretty wild. I
Sorry.
do like the guy that they the guy that it was his name was like something Fitzgerald. I mean it played like 100 years ago. He his family did give the okay. They said that he's the guy was such a Giants fan that he just want them to succeed no matter what, and if that jersey helps him, then it helps him. Yeah, I mean, it's also like I think it's a good statement about the danger of overhyping a player. Um, is Malik Neighbors talented? Absolutely. I watched this kid. He's doing stuff in camp. He you see a lot of that like that Des Bryant, that snatch, that breakaway speed like Tyreek. Like he's got a lot of tools. He's going to be a great player. Still got Daniel Jones throwing him the ball. Still got an offensive line that can't really keep people out of the backfield. Um, the receiver core is questionable in New York, so like you're going to face the every team's best corner every single week. Um, I don't know if he changes the game that much.
Dude,
Um,
I think in order to use him effectively, they're going to have to Debo Samuels him, which means he's going to get a lot of touches and he's going to get a
yeah,
lot of battering on his
yeah,
number
because they
one.
don't even have Saquon now. They don't even have a running back. Like, yeah, so I don't know.
This
You're
this
right.
back to the jersey thing. I guess I'm okay with it if the family approves. It reminds me of when Jerry Rice came to Seattle and they're like, we want to unretire Steve Largent's jersey so that Jerry Rice could. That's the only player. I mean, the only player that you would ever
Yeah,
unretire.
that's the best
Largent
player
was
in
like,
his position in history.
Steve,
Yeah,
Steve Largent's like, yes, let him have it.
yeah, and at least it also it's a little different too because Steve Largent is still what at least was still around at the time to tell him to give him the go ahead. But like, I don't know. If it was me, I wouldn't care. Somebody can wear my number, but I'm not a Hall of Fame football player.
Fair.
Uh, yeah, not yet. Um, so Malik Neighbors, we'll see how the Giants turn out. I don't know. I hope he doesn't turn into a Calvin Johnson where he just has his career wasted by playing for a shitty team. Um, Mercedes Lewis, former Packer, now Chicago Bear, um, gearing up for his 18th NFL season at tight end. Guy's 6'6", 265, big guy, position player, hell of a blocker, physical guy, just really you don't see position players play this long in the league. And so I wanted to give some props to him. Also, I have a special connection to Mercedes Lewis as he did keep me from getting knocked out by a football one time. Uh
Right.
two,
Tell it.
2000, 2007, Broncos Jaguars. I was working as a security guard at Invesco Field. It was Invesco Field at the time, and it was my birthday. So my supervisor gifted me a field pass to work perimeter security around the field, which means that you stand on the field, watch for people running, drunk guys running on the field, and you tackle them and keep them from interrupting the game. And so I was standing at the right next to the goalpost on the east end zone. Jaguars were about to score, and David Garrard drops back, throws the football right at me. Like, and this thing is moving. It's, Garrard had a cannon, and he's this thing is full spiral flying at my face. I'm like, I'm gonna get knocked out by this ball, and I'm gonna end up on like Come On Man or like the Not Top 10. I'm gonna be a
Come
meme
on,
all over
man.
again. This was 10 years before, this is 8 years before the sad Packers picture. I'm like, and I was on, and I was like, I'm gonna end up on ESPN by getting pegged with this football. The last second, 22-year-old Mercedes Lewis jumps like 12 feet in the air, catches the ball with his fingertips, lands right next to me in the end zone for the tutty. And I was on Sports Center for like 8/10 of a second. It was the most insane thing I've ever seen in my life. But ever since then, I've always had a soft spot for Mercedes. I loved watching him with the Packers. He's playing with the Bears now. Had a great preseason, great camp. He looks ready to go. I don't know. It's going to be hard because I love the player so much. He's playing for my least favorite team. But I mean, anyone who plays 12 years in Jacksonville deserves respect.
Truth,
That's pretty rough.
truth.
Yeah, they said he had in 12 years he had 9 different quarterbacks.
Oh my God, dude.
That's so
Brown,
bad.
those are Brown's numbers.
I know, right? You gotta, yeah, before Trev, Jacksonville was really not having a good time. All right, so Mercedes, just kind of a shout out there, not a lot of news. We got some rule changes in the NFL. NFL kickoff, and I had to look this up to look at because I saw it in preseason. I didn't fully understand it, so I had to like look up the logistics of it. So the kicker lines up by himself at his own 40-yard line. The return team lines up at the 30, their own 30, and then the rest of the kickoff team lines up at their 35. So the two teams are 5 yards away from each other. And neither team can move until the return man has touched the ball. Between the 20 and the end zone is called the landing zone. The ball, when it's kicked, has to go in the landing zone. If it goes into the end zone, like a normal touchback, then the return team gets the ball at the 35. If it doesn't reach the landing zone, they get it at the 40. So you're penalized by kicking a normal touchback. When the return man touches it, it's a live ball. Everyone can return it. And then the only other like remarkable change is you can still do a regular onside kick, but you have to declare it to the ref, and the other team knows it's coming. So takes away that surprise onside kick, which is kind of a bummer because it's always a fun little jolt to the game.
Oh
Um,
man, yeah, especially when you don't know if they're gonna do it or not. When you're like, this
okay,
is the time that you should do it. I
yeah.
mean,
What would,
dude,
what would the 2006 Saints say about this?
that sucks. Half of the surprise is like, are they doing it or not?
Mm-hmm.
That sucks.
Yeah,
The only thing I have a question about what you said there with the rule is you said that neither team can move until the receiver catches the ball
correct.
or the ball is kicked.
Well, no, the receiver has to the return man has to touch the ball. If he muffs it, they can move, but like he has to touch it.
So
So they have to
you
stand
have to
there.
be watching backwards to see if your guy catches the ball before you can
Yes, you do.
just well, I can't say it's stupid until I see it.
And it's a rule they inherited from the XFL. The second time the XFL has had a marked change on what happens in the NFL. The first one was those flyover cameras that they started doing in 2001. Um, and then so now it's like the kickoff change, and I don't know. Is it going to make the game more entertaining? Because I think I was telling you the reason they changed it was because only 22% of kicks were returned last year. They want to make the game more dynamic and exciting. They want more kick returns. They want more big hits. whatever. It seems like a big risk to the players, but will it make the game more exciting? Time will tell. I don't know. It just seems like another one of these things Roger Goodell has done to make more money,
This is
make
the
the
problem.
game.
This is the problem that I have with it. Everybody's on the 35
hmm Well, the return teams on the 30, the kickoff teams on the
on
35.
the
They're five
35.
yards away from each other.
Right. If the guy gets through one layer of people, he's gone.
Gone.
That's
That's
ridiculous
crazy.
to me. That's
You know, and
ridiculous.
and it's like I know that a couple of years ago the 49ers they recruited a one of the best rugby players in the world and gave him a contract to come play football and they had him as a return man. And it was because of that. It was because he had good breakaway speed and he was able to break through form tackles, which made him so good at rugby. I wonder if that's going to be more of a thing because that's the thing is like speed doesn't matter that much. If you break through that initial line, if you're able to break those initial tackles of guys who don't have a head of steam coming at you, it's a lot more form tackling.
Or it could be nothing but speed. If you had Usain Bolt catching the ball, no one's going to catch him, no matter what trajectory they're on. He can outrun every guy side to side and then up. I mean, can he catch a football though? Who
I mean,
knows?
I worry about guys like Usain Bolt because they're so much smaller that like he's going to be running. He's the fastest man in the world. He runs full speed and then runs straight into like Joey Bosa.
Yeah, I mean,
He's gonna get
that sounds dangerous.
he's gonna break
But,
every part of him.
but why would he do that? Here's what I'm saying. He has so much speed that you catch the ball and be like, "There's the gap. I can get there before anybody else." Bye. I mean, you have to have
Something to
good
think about.
vision too. Yeah, it has to be more than just speed. I give you that, but
I know he's got a lot of endorsements, but you make a lot more money in the NFL than as an Olympic sprinter. Um, Either way. Roster cuts. Not a ton. Not a ton of good free agents still left on the market. Xavier Howard gets released. And I think it's because he had like the Dolphins were in such contractual hell with him that they literally saved money by firing him and paying another contract. And so now it's like, who is going to pay out the remainder of that contract to give him a new one?
I don't know.
I don't see it. I don't see it. And I don't see the Dolphins retaining salary to have him play for another team.
Um, Nobody that I could see. The big cut that I saw from Seattle was D. Eskridge. I really thought he was going to make the team, a wide receiver, returner. Um, so speaking of this, if someone's out there looking for a return man with capability of breaking through this one line of defense,
Right.
he's out there.
Eskridge. I liked his sister Melissa's songwriting career.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, like I said, kind of boring. I mean, maybe some of this free agency will come into prominence later in the year. Obviously, there will be breakout players. Some player will have a resurgence. Maybe somebody if they get an injury, maybe they use some salary cap space to pick up Howard on the back end, and then yeah, Eskridge hopefully finds a place. Was he in the NFL before?
Yeah, he was with us last year.
Okay, and just didn't make the cut this time. Poor guy. I mean,
He was a
there's
good,
also there's also practice squad.
it's true.
Yeah, those guys get paid.
They're not protected though.
They are not. No,
That's kind of crazy, dude. If there's what, nine? You get nine
something like that.
to have nine guys on 32 teams or 30.
Yeah, but if they get hurt, you can replace them. And there's so many players that are just in limbo waiting.
32. There's 32.
32 teams. Yeah.
All right.
Um.
Wow.
So we touched on this a little bit earlier. The 49ers, they got the Aiyuk contract done. They lost the Super Bowl last year. That's now is it two or three Super Bowls they've lost to the Chiefs? Two. That's what I thought. That's right, because yeah, the Chiefs lost the one to the Bucks. Um, Brock Purdy, I'm always the one to like say I've watched him for 3 4 years now. The guy can make clutch plays, really reliable, accurate. Is he what's holding them back from making that final jump?
Well, as I sit here 15 miles from his alma mater, uh, he's beloved here. I'll tell you that much, even still. I drive around this town and I see 49ers flags and it makes me want to puke. But here's the thing. He was in the MVP conversation up until like week 15 last year. So, and I was really hard on him last year because I was like, look, he's surrounded by a super team. Like, but this is the NBA equivalent of a super team, honestly.
Right.
When you look at position to position, and then the guy that's coming in after that guy could start on other teams. That's what I'm happy. That's what I'm giddy about with all these big contracts that they're having to dish out. And honestly, this is what I'll tell you, dude. Brock Purdy is not Tom Brady. He does not scare me one bit. When I know
Right.
we're playing the 49ers, it ain't Brock Purdy that I'm scared of. So I will tell you this, my friend. I hope that he does this for the next 2 years and they sign him to a $50 million a year contract because I will never be afraid of Brock Purdy under center. I'm sorry. He's good, he's serviceable, but to me, he's like a Matt Ryan.
Exactly. That's such a great analogy. He's Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan.
Yeah, he's great. Probably
He's a Hall of
probably
Famer.
probably a Hall of Fame quarterback, but will he get a ring? Probably not. Hopefully he doesn't blow a 25 point lead in the late third
Oh
quarter,
God.
like Matt Ryan did.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. I just feel like the 49ers, if it's not now, it's not going to happen with this group of guys.
I think they're in a 2 year window myself.
Actually, the Aiyuk deal may have brought him another year, cap wise, but
Dude,
yeah,
next
like,
year they're going to be up against it. And then after that, they're going to be who's getting cut.
and there we had honestly, this was a great rookie class coming in this season too. There's
Oh,
there's there's going to be a lot of playmakers.
this is I'm last year's rookie class was exciting because of the quarterbacks. You had Stroud, Bryce Young, uh,
Mhm. Richardson,
who we still don't know anything about because he was
right?
out like after week
Yeah, he got
3.
hurt immediately. Yeah,
And then you had Laporta, you had there Gibbs, there's who's the guy for Bijan Robinson.
Bijan, yeah,
Um, it was just an exceptional class. And even Hendon Hooker and DTR, the second round of quarterbacks for backups, they're going to be tested at some point because this is an
Mhm.
injury game. Um, but this year, oh my God, you got Bo Nix, Caleb Williams. Who's not excited to see what this looks like? I mean, they're on Hard Knocks. You got the Michael Penix Jr. When's he ever going to see the field?
Right. What
Kirk
happens in
Cousins
Atlanta?
got hurt last year. I mean, I do want to talk about that with you because you brought up an interesting parallel. You said that maybe perhaps Atlanta is now looking like they want to do what the Packers have done with like Rodgers and now Jordan Love with like massive amounts of success.
And Favre before Rodgers.
And right, and I pointed out to you that sure, you want to do that and you want to draft a quarterback to sit for 3 years. You drafted the oldest quarterback in the draft class to do that, and you're just taking years off his career. So I think that they did twofold, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, they signed Cousins to what, a 4 year deal?
Yeah, the only thing that I think that I would agree with you, except that like they gave Cousins a huge deal. They gave Cousins the deal that says you're our franchise guy,
Right.
which I don't really understand with Kirk Cousins. He's reliable, but yeah, he's injury prone.
But maybe that's their
Maybe that's why
safety.
they got Penix. Yeah,
They're like, we know that he's going to get hurt, but now we have. I mean, Penix was in the national title game.
he was. He's great.
He took a Washington team that nobody had ever seen ever and
Yeah.
brought them to the national title game in 2 seasons, I guess. But
Yeah. I think and I mean, people are gonna hate this comment, they're gonna say that it's just because I hate the Bears. I would rather start Penix than Caleb Williams.
me too. But that's
Straight
just
up,
because I'm a homer.
straight up. Caleb Williams is all flash.
I'm a homer.
He's not reliable.
Uh, all right, we got to talk. Is that your last bit of news before we
That's
move?
all. No, I got one more.
All right, because I want to.
You're gonna have opinions on this, I guarantee it.
All right, maybe it's the same thing.
Pittsburgh.
Okay, go.
Pittsburgh brings two starting quarterbacks from other teams in the offseason, has them battle it out in training camp, and the veteran Russell Wilson named starter for week one. You got to have some thoughts about this. This is the guy who won the Super Bowl with the
Okay,
Seahawks.
no, okay. So I've had my ebbs and flows with Russell Wilson over the years, including when he was with Seattle.
Mhm.
I was like, dude, I got so tired of his press conferences that he's unwatchable. It's the same shit every day. Even when we were winning, like I usually enjoy watching press conferences, especially when my team wins.
Right.
Just like this is so hard to watch. But anyway, then we traded him. Everybody was shocked because you just don't trade a franchise quarterback in their prime. But boy, the look of the
Prime is
Seattle
pretty
Seahawks,
generous. Sorry.
the look of the Seattle Seahawks is vastly changed because of that deal. And I mean, it might go down as one of the biggest uh, faux pas in the history of trading players in all of sports, not just football.
Right.
Um,
It was a huge trade.
but here's the thing: they got Russell first, and when they brought in Justin Fields, they said Russell's our starter.
They did.
They said it's not even a contest. They said this is who we got for our starter, but we know that it's a 1 year thing. And then we feel like Justin Fields is great, but under 1 year of Russell's tutelage and Mike Tomlin, that he'll be able to man the ship from there because some of the things that he's got going on now can be cleaned up in that time and he'll mature at another level. I don't think Russell's going to make it the whole year as the starter. I just don't.
I no, I totally agree with you.
I think at some point they'll say, "Well, it's not terrible, but we're not winning."
Right. Yeah, if they're fucking 3-5, Fields is
But
going
I
in.
will also tell you this: if they're not winning, it's not going to be because of Russell Wilson's play. I
Right.
promise you that it's going to be because of the depth of the roster, and then they're
So
going to make a change, and it's going to be the same thing.
here's kind of my opinion of it. And I know I've been really harsh on Justin Fields in the past. Um, and I think justifiably so. I think he's an inconsistent player. I think that he shows signs of real talent and real game management. Um, but I don't think he's been properly coached. And I think we're going to find out this season if coaching was the issue or if he really doesn't have it. That being said, Russell Wilson, I think, has gotten progressively worse every single season. I think that his first year in Denver, he played well, but the team was just really bad. And then last year, the team improved a little bit, but his play got less consistent throughout the season. So you have it's an interesting dynamic because you have this guy who started out super consistent, super dominant, winning attitude, good team player, and then he just gets progressively worse. And then you have a guy who started at the bottom, was meant to be the savior of this dirt franchise, didn't do it, and then now he's starting again. So it's like that seems like a weird locker room dynamic to me, but also it's Mike Tomlin. And you're right. Russell Wilson is not going to play the whole season. I mean, we're not even thinking if he gets injured. He's in the AFC North. He's going against the Ravens and the Browns twice a year. Like, he's going to get hit. He's going to get smashed by these huge guys. And so
And the
it's like,
Bengals.
and the Bengals got a good defense too. Like, yeah, they're we're gonna find out pretty quickly if Russ can still play in this league. And if he can't, they got another guy coming in, and it's like with the right coaching, maybe Fields does something better. I don't know. But I think he made the right choice. I think Russell is the week one starter. I don't know why.
I gotta ask you this since you've been down on both guys. What if, say, the Bears did not pick Caleb Williams number one, kept Justin Fields, has the current roster that they have, plus whatever they would have gotten
yeah, if they had
for
taken
the
Marvin
first pick of the
Harrison
draft.
or
You're
whatever.
telling me Justin Fields with DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, and your boy at tight end, and his ability to run and a massively improved offensive line and defense ain't gonna be and some experience in the league ain't gonna be at least as good as Caleb Williams is this year?
As good as Caleb Williams, yeah, I
Because
do.
I know that you're not a big fan of Caleb Williams, but I also know that you've been critical of what would you have done?
If I'm the Bears, um, I think I keep Fields and I trade the pick.
Me too.
Um, and because you're gonna get a
Agree.
starter from another team, you're
Agree.
gonna get another first round pick, and you're gonna get a cadre of other picks.
And another first round pick next year.
And another first round pick next year. Maybe you luck out. Maybe you get the first round pick from the worst team this year.
Dude, and let's be honest, any team that's trading up to get Caleb Williams from you at number one is going to be a team that's not very good.
Yeah,
Your
and
chance
the
next
Panthers
year,
already got their quarterback, so it's just like who are we looking at this point? That New England maybe? Like, yeah, fuck it. I trade that pick to New England. Um, but yeah, I honestly I don't think it matters honestly because Matt Eberflus is a shitty coach. I mean, I'm just gonna throw it out there. I watched him on Hard Knocks. I watched the way he runs his program. The dude does not have it. He has the mentality of like a college coach, where it's like if you go out there and you play and you execute and you do your very best and we work as a team, we're gonna win. It's like this is the NFHell, dude. Like every single one of these coaches knows everything about this game. You're dealing with the best athletes on the planet. You cannot will yourself to wins in this league. You have to you have to use strategy. Talk to Andy Reid about how many we got to give our best speeches he gives to those teams. He doesn't fucking do that. It's not like he's calling fucking Taylor Swift's boyfriend and being like, "Hey, I really need you to catch the ball out there." They fucking know this. Matt Eberflus is the reason the Bears are bad. It's not because of any of their players.
no,
DJ All Star.
you bring up an interesting point because you think about high school, middle school football, college football. Those are the types of football teams that require halftime speeches or
Right.
game pump up speeches. If you're at this level, just fucking. I'm a coach. I'm going in there and be like, you guys know you got to do your job right.
Yeah.
You got to fucking. I'm not. If you're not hyped to run out of that stadium for millions of dollars in front of thousands of people, there's
Right.
nothing I can say that's going to
And
get you
there's been a million opportunities for you to evaluate your players to see who's ready and who isn't.
right.
Like, I mean, you have a fucking 100 scouts. You have a GM with a huge staff of people. You have all of college football that's televised. Like, you have a million opportunities to see these kids play. So if they're not ready, there's nothing you're going to say to them that's going to make them ready.
Right.
You know, like I was a pretty good high school football player, and yeah, my coaches would hype me up, and I'd play a little bit better. If you hype me up for a year and then ask me to go block Aaron Donald, it wouldn't matter. Like, I'm not blocking him. There's no fucking way. He's
Right.
that much better. Like, it doesn't matter. So it's like, yeah, it's about finding the right players and the right schemes. And that's why the Cowboys, great example. Doesn't matter who they draft. They're never going to win the Super Bowl. Not
Uh,
with McCarthy, because he's the same way. He's that whole like we're gonna put their dick in the dirt. And we're gonna play hard nosed football. I'm like, dude, these are professional athletes.
all right. Lastly, are we gonna do Are we going to follow Colorado football this year?
I'm fucking terrified.
All
I
right.
don't
They're
know
playing
what we
Nebraska.
beat. We beat North Dakota, so we're off to a good start.
They play
Um,
Nebraska this weekend.
oh, they'll
What are
beat
your thoughts?
Nebraska, but that might be their last win. We'll see.
Well,
I
Nebraska
can't tell
got
you.
the next.
It's starting all over again, man. Everybody's saying Shadur is going to win the Heisman. Travis Hunter is going to be the first number one overall pick. I'm like, I maybe they're great players, but it doesn't mean that like, yeah, like you're gonna take this team against Alabama. You're gonna take them against Georgia, against Ohio State. Like, we lost to Oregon 56-0 last year. Like, that is an ass whooping. Teams that play in the college football playoff don't get their asses whooped. So we'll see how Colorado looks. I love them. I'm a Buff through and through, but like, god damn, man, like last year just showed us like you can hype up a team as much as you want. At the end of the day, the teams that recruit better and have better coaches are going to win.
Well, the reason I bring it up is because I feel like you're sitting on this mountain of like,
Oh my god.
not an NFHell. My team's great. Where I'm still kind
And
of down here. So I need Colorado to balance it out.
oh, okay. See, because the Packers are a contender this year. I see what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah. At least we're hoping. We don't know what's going to happen, but yeah. College football wise, Colorado, I think will be better than next year. Will they make the playoff? I mean, if they win like 8 games, they could maybe make it in because of how politics work, and everyone wants to see them in the playoff. Are they going to win any games in the playoff? Fuck no. Like,
Fair.
they're not better than any of those teams I just mentioned, and they're not by a long shot. Like,
Well, dude, a lot of it might be a down year for a lot of these teams, man. Because a lot of these teams, I mean, look at Florida. Like these teams, like a lot of these teams did
oh,
not
Florida
like,
State,
or yeah, or
that was brutal.
Oregon barely. I mean, they didn't look like a number three team to me.
I
Michigan,
mean,
Michigan didn't really look great until they pulled it out late. And Washington's probably going to lose to Washington State in week 3. I
that would
mean,
be
it's got
something.
a whole new regime, dude. The Apple Cup is usually played way late in the season. So the
Right.
fact that we're in the Big Ten now is like it's
That's so crazy to me that
messes
the fact
everything up. But yeah,
that there's coastal teams in the Big Ten. That's fucking
on
crazy.
both coasts, really now.
On both coasts,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
Like you could fly across the whole country to play a game. That's
yeah,
fucking nuts.
it's gonna be
Anyways,
it's
but
gonna.
fuck 'em up, go see you. But yeah, I don't see us winning uh, all of the things people think we're gonna win this year.
So you give me your Heisman pick, and I'll give you mine.
Oh my God. I don't even know. I feel like every good player was drafted. What do you think?
I'm gonna go with an outlier. He's supposed to be the next Patrick Mahomes, but I'm gonna go with Dylan Raiola from Nebraska. I know,
The team has to win a few games
I
for
know,
it to win the Heisman, right?
I I know. I
Uh,
trust me, I wanted to pick Will Rogers from Washington, but I just don't think we got the guns to do it. You can give me your answer next week if you want.
I was gonna say I'm looking at it right now. This is crazy. You want an outlier? That kid, the freshman Jeremiah Smith from Ohio State, he caught 6 touchdowns last week.
All
He's a
right.
freshman.
All right.
That could be interesting. A receiver that wins Heisman. I'm into it.
I like it.
But
We're both wrong, but
I mean, we're both wrong. Yeah, they're probably gonna just give it to somebody from Georgia. Um, did you see Georgia beat the ever living shit out of Clemson in week 1? Like
I
it wasn't
did.
close at all.
And Clemson's coach in the post game was hilarious.
Yeah.
Banging on the tables and stuff. All right.
Anyways, Quinn Ewers from Texas too is also a safe pick, but
Don't go with the safe pick. You're sticking with your
That's right. I'm going with the freshman. I'm going with the freshman. All right. Let's talk about pros. We're not talking about fucking college. All right. So we're gonna pick some games. Let me get my schedule up.
are
I
you
haven't really thought about this much beforehand. I want to just preface that is that we're
that's our
making
whole thing this year, right?
yeah,
We're not looking at the schedule ahead of time.
as much as possible. Like I know the Packers schedule, but
Right,
like
we'll pick them live. Obviously, I'm going to know who Seattle's playing every week, but
right.
we will be looking at the rest of the schedule right now for the first time. In years past, we would all write down who we thought was going to win what. That's all gone. So here we go. Week one. Oh my God.
Week one. Tomorrow, 6:20 Mountain, 7:20 Central. Ravens at Kansas City. Season opener. Probably the best game of the week.
Yeah. Am I going or are you going?
I was like, you're gonna make me pick first? I'll pick first.
No, you're the
Um,
host. You dictate what happens, man.
yeah, you know what? I'm taking Baltimore. I think the Chiefs always start slow. Baltimore's got a really dynamic team. They there's a lot of hype coming off the Super Bowl. Baltimore's had a great camp, a lot of good rookies, a lot of development. Lamar looks like he's in form. They brought on Derrick Henry. I know that he's kind of in the sunset of his career. I think that he adds a little bit more dynamics to their offense. So yeah, I think that they pull off a close one. It's going to be a fun game, lots of scoring. The NFL, this is what they wanted. They want a big, exciting game first on the list. I'm taking Ravens 34-31.
All right. I Here's what I'll do for this season. I will do this and I'll just send it to you.
Oh, you're going to record our answers?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You said what's the score?
34-31.
34
The Ravens.
Baltimore. All right. Well, it was like listening to my own thoughts when he's like Kansas City starts out slow, blah blah. All right. I'm not going to pick the same as you.
Okay.
I like your score, 34-31, but I'm going to go Kansas City. And the only reason I'm going against you is because they're at home. Slow
Arrowhead gets
start.
loud.
Slow start. I don't remember Baltimore racing off to anywhere at the beginning of the season either. So, I mean, we had our ears up for Kansas City because they were coming off of, Super Bowl. So,
Yeah, because they're back to back now. They're going for the three-peat.
yeah. And well, we'll save that for later
Yeah,
on.
we'll save that for like
But
17.
yeah, I had Baltimore. I just looking at it right now, but I'm not gonna pick the same as you. So
Okay. Friday night.
Friday Night Lights, baby.
That's right. Viva la Carnival. Live from Sao Paulo, Brazil. Packers, Eagles. I'm gonna let you pick first because I think I have a lot of stake in this one.
Man, this is so tough. This is so tough because I loved the Packers story last season. I loved everything about it up to taking the Cowboys out in the playoffs in just devastating fashion. I mean, I don't know how those guys even woke up the next day.
Yeah. Beat the brakes off them.
The Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders were running out of the building at halftime going, "Oh my God, we don't have a job anymore." Seriously, I watched the
Oh,
show. They were like, "Wow, we really thought we were coming back for another week, but nope." Yeah, so and the Eagles all of last year, I was like, they're not that good. You remember that? I was like,
I
they're not
remember.
that good.
You were right.
I do think they're better this year, though. But the thing is, it all comes down to the play of the quarterbacks in this one for me. And as much as I want to go Green Bay, I think the Eagles are more prepared for this, for the area, for the situation. Like if this were in Green Bay, I wouldn't even dream of picking the Eagles. So for this one, I'm gonna pick the Eagles, and I'm gonna say 28-22.
Right, we're gonna get one of those 2-point conversions for sure. All right. Um, so clearly I'm a Packers fan. Um, and I have a lot of stake in this game. Um, I'm just gonna start this. I'm gonna kill the drama. I'm picking the Eagles because last year, every time I bet against the Packers, they won. So I do think internally the Packers will win this game. And it's going to be tough because yes, the Packers don't travel well. They blew that game in London against New York last year. And this is a lot to ask, and it's a jarring experience, especially for the Packers who have the youngest roster in the NFL. That being said, last year they put together something extremely special, and we've improved our defense. We've added a couple of key pieces. We got that new linebacker. Um, I like our play over the middle. I think Jacobs is going to be a huge running back for us. I think that opens up the field a little bit for Jordan Love to go out and do his thing. I think there's a lot less pressure on him. I think his receivers are more experienced. I think Christian Watson, if he stays healthy, is going to have a huge year. Um, and that being said, the Eagles, they lost their center. They lost their offensive captain to retirement. Um, and so as good as Hurts is, as good as any of those receivers are for the Eagles. I mean, they brought in Saquon who didn't do shit for the Giants last year. They got to have somebody blocking, and I think the Packers are going to have a day down in Brazil. So I'm picking the Eagles, 16-15. Um, but in my heart, we're going to win this game.
All right.
All right, up.
16-15. Hey, you guys, just to let you know, this year we are sponsored by V8 Original Low Sodium. Uh, if you're wondering why we're sitting upright, it's because the good folks at V8.
Still waiting on that check to clear V8.
Right.
Um,
Until then, I'll continue to drink your cold soup.
Your cold soup. I
Go
was gonna say,
Combo.
I was like, yeah, we were talking about V8 before the show started. I fucking hate that stuff. Um, anyways, up next, probably not gonna be the best game, but it's probably the game I'm most excited to watch outside of the Packers. Sunday morning, or afternoon, depending on where you are in this country. Um, Atlanta hosting the Pittsburgh Steelers. New quarterbacks, new looks to both of these teams. I made you pick the last one next. I'm taking Atlanta. As a safe pick. Kirk Cousins, he's not going to be injured the first week. He's a consistent quarterback. Bijan's coming into his second year. Kyle Pitts is feeling good. Atlanta's got a killer offense. Pittsburgh, they got blown out week one last year. They're figuring out a new quarterback, new system. Mike Tomlin, he's never had a losing record, but he's going to start with one this week. I'm taking Atlanta, winning big, 31-14.
Well, my friend, Russell Wilson has never lost to Kirk Cousins.
Ooh, interesting
And
statistical fact there. Yeah,
I think that um, Mike Tomlin is a better coach. I think he
definitively, sure.
honestly understood the shortcomings of last year and did everything he possibly could to make sure that he was ready for this year. So I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going to say 19-17 is what I'm going to say. And I'm going Pittsburgh.
And they get the win on a safety resulting from a messed up kickoff because Atlanta didn't completely understand the rules.
There you go.
All right, up next, kind of a boring one. Buffalo hosting Arizona. Um, At least it's not the winter, so they don't have to play in the frigid cold of Buffalo. But so here's a team, the Buffalo Bills. that we talk about, like San Francisco's window is closing. You know, they got maybe one, maybe two more seasons to win a championship. Buffalo, I think the window is closed. I think that they're not going to be a championship contender this year. That being said, they're still better than Arizona. The only X factor is Marvin Harrison Jr. How good is he going to be with Kyler? Who knows? I'm taking Buffalo in this game. I don't really care. It's not going to be exciting. I'm going to say 27-20. Um, Josh Allen pulls off, couple of touchdown passes, maybe a weird turnover at the end of the game. Maybe like a delay a game penalty, give somebody like a first down that they win the game with. It's just not going to be a fun game to watch.
I disagree with you. I
Okay.
think that as long as Buffalo has Josh Allen, they're a contender. He is legit a top three quarterback in the NFL right now. And as long as he's on that team and that team is trying, they are a contender. That said, I'm devastatingly afraid of the combination of Marvin Harrison Jr. and Kyler Murray, but I've yet to see it. So I don't
Okay.
really know what it means. I know what it looks like on paper, and it's really fucking scary. That said, it's 31-24 Buffalo, and I'm happy because I love it when teams in my division have to play hard teams early on, so we can hopefully win our game and get on to a jump start in the division. So that's it.
Up next, um, few more storylines with this game. Chicago Bears, Tennessee Titans at Soldier Field. The professional debut of Caleb Williams, Roma Dunze, Tennessee, Dames. I think I know who you're going to pick, but I want to hear you say it. I want to hear it come out of your mouth.
All right. Well, I've often said outside of this show, and I will admit on this show that once the Seahawks are down the tube, I will be focusing on the Bears because of Roma Dunze. I'll also be focusing on Atlanta because of Michael Penix, but that's just seems like a farther off trajectory. I do love my Washington Huskies, and I do think Roma Dunze was the best receiver in the draft. I still feel that way. Will it play out that way? Um, if it doesn't, you can't blame anybody but Romo Dunze because they got the best quarterback. I mean, here we go. Here we go. It's time. Um, I'm gonna pick the Bears. Um, although Levis is coming back for his second season, and he didn't look terrible. His first season he looked moderately terrible, but but I mean, if card values or anything, he's still up there. I mean, people still believe in him.
You still
So
got time. Still got time.
yeah, so he was basically the fourth of the major quarterbacks. You had Bryce Young first, then you had C.J. Stroud, then Richardson, then Levis. My score. Do I think the Bears are going to be an offensive juggernaut this year? I don't know yet. I'm going 24-17 for the Bears.
Okay. So this is one of the easier games on the Bears schedule. Um, Tennessee is definitely rebuilding their offense. Will Levis, it's his sophomore run, and he's got a lot of potential. I don't think he's really the long-term answer in Tennessee. He might prove me wrong, but either way, they need more pieces than they have. That being said, Chicago blew out Tennessee in preseason. They're going to come in with a big chip on their shoulder because they think they're hot shit with that new fancy offense and their receiver core. They're at home. They have no reason to lose. And I think we are all going to learn who Caleb Williams is on Sunday. I am picking the Titans. And I'm saying they win in overtime, 34 to 28, and on a pick six, which will be Caleb Williams' fourth interception of the day.
I put OT on this.
Four interceptions. Caleb Williams, he'll throw three touchdowns, four interceptions, 321 yards. Everyone will say how great he is until he starts to suck.
Hold on. I'm making note of this. Gobo says 321 yards, four picks,
Three touchdowns
three TDs for
in a
K.
Bears overtime loss, 34 to 28.
All right.
Okay.
OT loss on pick six.
I was like, if I'm right on all those things, then we're
You're
canceling
right
this.
on one of them,
I
man.
was like, I'm just gonna go to Vegas. All right. Up next, Cincinnati hosting Patriots. This one's easy to me. I'm taking the Bengals. Burrow, fucking Mixon. They're at home. Fucking yeah. New England has their new quarterback. I think he's gonna have a very Bryce Young-ish opening season because the Patriots, they got no one else. They tried to make a bunch of moves in free agency, nothing really landed. They don't have Belichick anymore. I don't see a scenario where Cincinnati loses this game. 35-10, Bengals.
All right. That's pretty close to how I'm scoring it.
I was gonna say this one's fucking easy, dude.
I got 35, 34-13 for Cincinnati. And Jared Mayo goes down in his first game. At least it's not a home game.
At least it's not a home game. The residents in Foxborough will have their clam chowder, which I don't know how good that is in the summer, but yeah, they'll be crying into their clam chowder many a week this year. Um, Up next, maybe the best team in the AFC,
Whoa.
traveling to Indy, Texans Colts. Um, Take us there, Dames. Who are you picking?
You know what? I am very much looking forward to this game. Um, the return of AR. God, I wish he just had more. I mean, look at this guy.
You just wish we had a sample size to judge how good he actually is.
Yes,
Fucking played
yes,
like he
because
played
we
like
already know CJ Stroud is the man. We already know that. First playoff victory for a rookie quarterback in how long? Long time. Anyway,
first playoff victory for the Texans in how long?
I mean, in year one for D'Amico Ryan. Boy, this one's tough because it is in Indianapolis and it's at the beginning of the year. So no teams have time to get into midseason form. I do think the Colts got drastically better, and I just don't know enough about AR to pick them. So I'm gonna go 24-21 Texans.
Okay. I don't know how I can agree with you, but also disagree with you, but I'm gonna try.
Yeah,
Um,
give me the disagreement first.
all right, disagreement. I don't think the Colts got that much better. I think Anthony Richardson, and I hate to ruin your card stock because you're my friend and I want you to make money, but I don't think he's gonna be what people think he is. I think that the injury the injury probability on him is very high, and it's because of how he plays. He's definitely a run and gun quarterback, and he's not afraid of taking hits, but it's not about fear in the NFL. It's about strategy. And I think he takes too many hits. That being said, I think the Texans are the best team in the AFC. Um, I know we have our one Texans viewer that is going to be excited to hear me say that. I think Houston, CJ Stroud is going to be a top candidate for MVP this year. I think they're going to send five or six guys to the Pro Bowl. I think they make a deep playoff run, and I think the Colts are a speed bump to them. So even on the road, Texans are going to make a statement 41-14 over the Colts.
All right. And since you've said that, and since you're so worried about my card stock, if your projections are correct about CJ Stroud on the other side of this,
I was going to
I'll be
say,
doing far better than my Anthony Richardson collection.
I was going to say, I got a bunch of Justin Fields rookies from a garage sale, and I gave them to my brother who's a Bears fan, and now he wants to throw them away. It's hilarious.
That is hilarious. Yeah, I think about him taking, I think you take too many hits. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know what I
I
mean?
mean, for sure. Yeah, no, I be hitting it for
You know
sure.
what? You could be right. You could be right. And that's fine.
We're gonna find out. Is Houston the real deal?
I think that the
On the
fact,
road, winning it
guys, we're
big.
being
That would be
nice to each other. We're being nice to each other this week because neither one of us has anything to brag about. I
I was
mean,
gonna say, yeah, nobody's
Packers
accomplished.
made the playoffs, but they fucking lost. They didn't win the Super Bowl. So that's not
They,
anything to brag about.
they lost by 2 points to the team that did go to the Super Bowl. So I'm not like,
Still a loser.
yeah, it's
So
true. I was still sad.
yeah, I was sad, less sad weeks before you were really, really sad.
It's
So
fair.
I mean, I consider that a win for me.
I mean, I have the crown in the other room, so when the Packers start
Oh
winning again, I can start getting cocky. But we haven't won anything yet.
well, that's what this season's gonna be all about, my friend.
That's right.
Calling each other out on our bullshit.
So speaking of bullshit, um, I'm gonna call this game Battle for the Wang, because it's our dick-shaped state. Miami Dolphins host Jacksonville. Duval v the U. And I think this is gonna be a pretty good game. Um, Lawrence, I think Jacksonville added a couple of pieces. Is it enough? I think Miami, they're not great at making long runs because I think they have some depth issues. I think they have some coaching issues, but they still got Tyreek. And sometimes that's all you need. So I think they win this one close. I'm going to say 28-24. Um, kind of a by the numbers win. Miami's playing a little bit, plays a little bit of dominant football. They come away with the win, and they are declared lords of the dick shaped state.
Well, I'm sorry, what was your score?
28-24, Miami.
28-24. All right. Speaking of dicks,
Big Dick Lawrence. Look at that. I have a bunch of his rookies too from that
that's
same
right.
guy.
I have 19 of his quintessential rookie card, which I mean could be $100 card per card. But I don't know if he's good or not. I have no idea. This guy, what's this year three for him now?
I think this is
This will be year three.
4.
Four?
Yeah, because the first year they came in last place. They got the first overall pick again. Then they made, and then then the year after that was Saxonville, and they made the playoffs.
And
And then
then we
last
lost
year they
to
had kind
Jack.
of a shitty
Then we
season.
lost to Texas. Okay.
Yeah, and then they lost their playoff spot to the Texans last
So
year.
year four. Okay. Well, this is a tough one.
Is it tough? Both teams are pretty unreliable.
I'm gonna oh, there were times where Miami's offense was unstoppable last year. And
70 points.
I don't know if Jacksonville's defense, despite what Trevor Lawrence can do on the other side. I'm gonna say this is an overtime game. I'm gonna say 31-28. Uh no.
Fins?
Yeah, Dolphins.
It's the right call.
Overtime.
Oh, we got a division game. Oh, I guess the Houston's a division game too. Um, Carolina.
Oh my
It's
God.
the Big Easy to play the Saints.
Battle of who could care less.
I know. I was like, man, I thought the Bills in Arizona was a shitty game. Like, yeah, I don't care about this game. I honestly I'm excited to see Bryce Young, see if he gets any better, but I don't even know if I can play for this. I'm gonna let you pick first. I said I don't care
You
who
know
wins this.
what? It's hard to win in the dome, but in Bryce I trust right now until he proves to me that I can't trust him. Because he's going against Derek Carr. Does Derek Carr scare anybody?
Another guy that's surprisingly still in the league, but for other reasons.
I'm gonna say 27-17 for for
This is
Carolina.
one of those games where it's going to be like 10-7 or like 38-35. Like you just they're going to
That
keep
would
they're
be
going to
fun. If it was 38-30, that'd be a fun game.
it would be a fun game. I don't see it. I'm going to take the Saints 17-14 in overtime in a very underwhelming game. Mostly just because I was going to pick the Panthers, but since you picked him, I'm gonna pick the Saints to be statistical because this one's kind of a coin toss.
I accidentally put 71-14.
71-14. No, that would be a fun game to watch.
Yeah.
Like the Make-A-Wish kid gets a touchdown. Like, yeah, I'm into it. Um, here's another kind of a brutal one. Giants Vikings. In the Meadowlands.
Thank
I
God
guess
this is part of the noon schedule, so I can completely avoid it.
I was gonna say it's the last early slate game. I'm gonna pick first because you picked first last time. Oh my God. Jas, I hope you're watching, that you're still a viewer of the show at least, because I'm taking your Giants. Maybe one of their few wins this year, but the Vikings are in rough shape. Um, they picked up Jonesy from the Packers. They're big on taking our leftovers when we upgrade. They have a solid defense, solid-ish. But yeah, I think Neighbors is gonna go eat. I think Daniel Jones probably also throws 3 touchdowns and 4 picks, just like Caleb, but it'll be enough to win. I'm taking the Giants 21-14 at home.
Oh boy. I'll stick with the 21-14 score, but I'm gonna go Minnesota. Uh,
Okay.
because Sam Darnold.
You're picking Sam Darnold as a winner in
I
this game.
am. I am. And I'm just kind of a slap in Jazz's face.
I know. Just for quitting the show.
Yeah.
Here's what you get. You get a loss to the fucking worst quarterback and the worst starting quarterback in the NFL.
Is he?
It's pretty close. I think might be the title for the worst one.
Uh,
Jones is also terrible.
right.
I
I was like,
I'm thinking about it. I can't think off the top of my head a worse quarterback than either of those two guys.
oh boy. All right. Moving on.
Anyways, yeah. So we picked moving on. Starting off the afternoon slab of games. Another a division rivalry. Um, our California boys versus our newly Nevada boys, Chargers at SoFi against the Raiders. This one's pretty easy to me, but let's see. Yeah, it's your turn to pick first. I'll let you pick first.
Sorry, I'm a little bit flustered. All right.
Thinking about
We got
Chargers?
the Raiders and the Chargers. I'm not gonna go against Harbaugh in his opener at home. I just can't do it. So I'm gonna say, uh, God, there's still the Chargers from LA. It's still weird to me.
I
I'm
know.
gonna say 31-17 Chargers.
You like almost took my score too. Yeah, Harbaugh. I mean, this is a big test for him, but he's taken an NFL team to the Super Bowl. Now he's won his national championship in college. Dude knows how to win. Raiders. I mean, Devontae can't do everything, guys. You got to find him a supporting cast. They traded Jacobs to the Packers. I don't see what the Raiders are doing, and like how they intend to win. Yeah. I'm gonna go 32-17 Chargers.
Wow.
Because I don't fucking know. I agree. The fucking Raiders are bad, and they got Justin Herbert. So, name confusion aside, the Chargers are the better team.
Well,
Um,
here's the thing though. It's not that I think the Raiders are bad. I I it's all going to depend on their quarterback because they had a good run at the end of the year with their interim coach becoming their head coach. And hopefully, there's some carryover from that. And they got Max Crosby, who's
Max Crosby is the man.
insane, dude. Uh, if I could have one player off of another team, that would be the one I would pick.
That would be him.
On defense, at least.
Oh, okay. I was like, you wouldn't take Tyreek Hill?
I
Like, come on.
mean, if I could choose any offensive player right now, it's not a quarterback, it'd be Christian McCaffrey. I mean,
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say,
don't
see,
like him, but it'd be stupid to. I mean, I would love him in a
he's
Seahawks.
the most dynamic player in the NFL for
Yeah, I
sure.
mean, you got to consider your Travis Kelce's, but he's on the downside of his career probably, but he's still a threat.
Right.
Plus, you get
And
Taylor Swift at your games.
you got to also understand that the tourism revenue of your city goes up like 80% every time Taylor
Right.
comes to the game. So
Right.
I think that the city of Green Bay's GDP doubled when she came to see the Chiefs Packers game. Um, Anywho, this game I'm a lot more interested in. The battle of our childhood homes. Your Seattle Seahawks hosting the new Denver
The only
Broncos.
problem is I didn't defect. You were a quitter at some point.
I never liked the Broncos. I will say that. I was picked on by kids who were all Broncos fans, and I made my choice. So I do have a Broncos jersey. I do have a Broncos jersey. I have several Broncos jerseys, but um, so Seattle. I think I have to pick this one first, right? Yeah.
I don't care. It's up to you.
So Bo Nix, Geno Smith, Broncos haven't made a huge. I mean, because they got Javante. Their defense is kind of questionable. Their new uniforms are ugly as shit. That and then I don't really know much about the Seahawks. I know that they've been kind of underwhelming the last couple of years. I'm excited to see this game. I'm gonna take the Seahawks at home. With the new coach, I think Bo Nix. That's a lot of pressure for him. I mean, he did just spend his whole college career playing in the Northwest. I'm going to take the Seahawks. It's going to be a close one. I'm going to say 17-14 um, in a pretty good game.
All right, my friend.
All
Here's
right. I know you have more thoughts about
here's
this.
where I destroy you. I also don't know what the Seahawks look like because we have a brand new coach. But I'll tell you this: we'll have 14 points in the first quarter.
Okay.
So you saying that we'll only the Pete Carroll days we would only have 3 points in the last three quarters for sure. But here's another thing: Bo Nix just set the record for most college career starts, so he's very experienced.
He's ready to play. Yeah.
Whether he's the best quarterback out of the draft or not, he's the most experienced, and it's not even close. So to have that record under your belt, Sean Payton's no slouch of a coach, and he's really hard on quarterbacks. So to put him in that position, going into one of the loudest stadiums in the NFL on week one before we're out of the playoff race, that's a scary situation for any young quarterback. I don't care how many games you played or where you played them. Um, it's going to be rough for him. I will tell you this: if we lose this game, I'll spend all next week in a Broncos hat. I will commit to that. But I feel like we're going to win 31-21, and it won't be the cardiac kids every fucking week for the rest of the season like it was under Pete Carroll. Here, this is why I'm excited, okay? And this is my game, so this is an opportunity for me to talk about why I'm excited. Pete Carroll, I remember one point Marshawn Lynch was like, "Can we score more? Can we score again?" And Pete's like, "Yeah." To me, that says once Pete got up, he wasn't trying to score more points. He was trying to not turn the ball over and then rely on the defense. Well, once the Legion of Boom waned and those players started going elsewhere, we became a historically bad defense, especially on the run. The last 2 years, our run defense was 31st and 30th. That's not acceptable.
Not good.
And, you know, a lot of those games got blamed on Gino. Well, Gino was put in positions where, we're starting from the inside the 5 yard line because our defense is just miserable. So 31-21, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for this season, but you'll see how hopeful after we get done with these games. So let's move on.
Moving on. Um, Cleveland hosting outside of Jerry World, Jerry's boys, the Dallas Cowboys. Who do you got?
Damn it. You make me pick first on this one.
It's your turn.
All right. Let's see here. I'm down on both these teams this year. Um, I don't have either finishing first. I don't have either finishing second in their divisions, respectively. Um, this is a home game. Deshaun Watson might not be the best quarterback on the team. Uh, do I think he holds up all year? Whether it be injury or just poor play, I don't think he's the quarterback for 17 games. I do think Dak Prescott's the quarterback for 17 games, barring injury. And I think that's the last season that we see him in Dallas, barring a Super Bowl, which not going to
No,
happen. It can't happen if you don't make the playoffs, and they're not going to make the playoffs.
right.
So I do think Dallas squeaks this one out. I'll say 24-21, but I'm not confident in either team at this point.
Um, Kind of took the words right out of my mouth. Cleveland's got a better defense. Dallas has a better offense. And that being said, Dallas's defense isn't terrible either. I like Dallas in the regular season. If you're a gambling person, if there's not a lot of pressure on the game, Dallas has a lot more talent than a lot of teams. And this isn't a game that Mike McCarthy's going to have to really coach his way out of. You just give Dak the ball, let him throw it to CeeDee Lamb, let him throw it to, his tight ends, work the ball around, get a couple of sacks, shake up Deshaun Watson's confidence. I think Dallas wins this game. Um, I don't think they're certainly not winning a Super Bowl. You will see in a few minutes that I do have Dallas winning that division. But I think it's just a representation of how weak that division is this year. Dallas 37, Cleveland 17.
Ass whooping.
Ass whooping. Like I said, they're great in the regular season, and Cleveland is highly questionable. Up next, Tampa, Washington. No, but neither of these teams are making the playoffs. We're in Florida. It's my turn to pick first. Washington's still rebuilding. They got nothing on defense. Baker Mayfield. I think this is probably his last season in the NFL. I think he goes out with maybe making the playoffs. I think Tampa will be. Mike Evans is still on the team. Like they're gonna win this game for sure. So I'm taking Tampa at home. 28-14. Kind of an unremarkable game too. But I don't see the Commanders doing much here.
Brother, brother, brother. You speaketh a lotteth of shit.
I do.
All right.
So it's supposed to
Game's
suck
in
dick to the
Tampa.
Redskins. Come on.
This game's in Tampa. The Commanders have a lot of good players on defense still. That's what they drafted primarily under Rivera. And they got a brand new quarterback stud. They let Sam Howell go. this new quarterback is going to elevate this team to new heights, including a week one win in Tampa. So I've got the Commanders winning 24-14.
Taking a commanding lead in the weekly pick schedule. Okay. And then the Sunday night game, the NFC runner-up last year, Detroit Lions, hosting Los Angeles Rams.
Can I tell you why I love this game?
Yes, because the Rams are going to get their shit kicked.
Well, I love that, but you got the swaparoo of quarterbacks.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
All right, playing each other again, and it doesn't matter where they play because it was the home of somebody.
Right. hmm
Stafford goes back to Detroit. Um, I got to tell you what I believe the secret weapon is of this game. Do you have any ideas what I'm going to say?
Puka Nakua. Was I right? I was right.
Puka Nakua is the key because you already know how good Cooper Cup is. You got to
Right.
a lot of teams that got to double him out of the gate. But they also got God, who's that third guy?
Oh, yeah. I can't remember, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, they got him and they got Puka Nakua. And I I just feel like this is a trap game for Detroit. You already know that you don't like Dan Campbell as a coach. Can you say the same thing about Sean McVay?
I like
Guy's
Sean
a good
McVay.
coach. Guy's a good coach. I don't want this to happen by all means, but I do think that the Rams are going to go in and they're going to beat the Lions 34-31.
A bold statement, sir.
Is
Um, I'll be contrarian. I think you make some good points. Puka Nakua is a stud, and Stafford has traditionally played well in Detroit. He is a Super Bowl champion now, because of that trade. That being said, Aiden Hutchinson is gonna work that Rams line, and then goddamn man, fuck Sam Laporta. Detroit's got so much. Amon-Ra, I just don't see
Jahmyr
that
Gibbs?
Rams defense picking up. What's that?
Jahmyr Gibbs?
I mean, yeah, it just it keeps going. We could name drop Detroit players all day. Um, yeah, I'm gonna take the Lions. I hope it's closer than I'm predicting. I'm gonna say 31-13 at home. I think the Detroit defense is gonna look really good. I think there's gonna be at least 3 or 4 sacks. Um,
We're both picking our division teams
I
to
know.
this
I
game.
noticed that. Yeah. Well, we'll see because on Monday night there's another division team of yours that's playing, and it's going to be a big one. The return of Aaron. I'm going to do ayahuasca instead of going to training camp Rogers. Returning to the NFL after playing 3 snaps last year and trial by fire, he's returning home to Northern California to Levi Stadium to play the 49ers on Monday night.
Who hates Aaron Rodgers more, you or me?
I don't even know at this point. I love Aaron Rodgers because he won a Super Bowl with the Packers, but it's like loving a family member who's in prison now. It's like I love him, but I don't condone his actions, and I wouldn't want him on the team anymore. I'm not going to get an apartment with the guy. Um, yeah, I mean, you know how I feel. I think the 49ers could win this game 70-0. Like, I'm not picking that as my score. I'm going to say like, 45-21 49ers win this. But does Aaron Rodgers even finish this game?
Hope not.
I mean, I don't see it happening. If I mean, the Bills weren't as good and they injured him immediately.
Yeah. I've got, unfortunately, San Francisco winning this game as well. I mean, it's in San Francisco. Not that I would change, it might change my score if it was in New York, just because it would be a 10 a.m. start for them right out of the gate,
Right.
which sucks. Actually, it wouldn't because it's
It's a Monday. It's a night game.
a Monday night game. So,
Yeah,
all right.
it's like it's prime time, baby. Like
So, yeah, I've got the 49ers winning like 35-23.
it's an easy pick. I don't know if anybody's taking the Jets. I don't know if Midwest Jet is even going to pick the Jets on this one.
He picked the Jets every week.
He did. He did.
He did.
Yeah. You know what? I appreciate him for that. Um. Okay. So
It's week one, baby.
that's week one. Those are the picks. Um.
You know what I'm gonna
Now.
do? I'm gonna post our picks in the chat below the episode. That's what I'll do. So everybody can see our picks, and then if you want to watch the show, you can watch the show too. Because there's way more content than just the picks, right?
Exactly.
All right, and then you can pick against us too in
Right.
the
And then we'll
comment.
do a buffer to right now if you want to hear our divisional predictions.
Let's go.
All right, let's get started. Um, I just this is the order I have them in. AFC East.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, AFC East.
Who you got?
Dolphins.
Oh, Buffalo,
I got Buffalo at 2.
Jets,
You got Jets at 2. Okay, and then there's balloons. Um, I got Jets at 3,
Dolphins.
and then we agree the Patriots are going to be last.
They suck.
Yeah, they're not good.
Jared Mayo's fired after 1 year.
I don't think he gets
I don't,
fired.
I'm
I
not
think
gonna
he
go
gets
that.
fired halfway through next season. Okay, AFC West.
Okay,
Chiefs,
Chiefs,
Chargers,
Chargers,
Broncos,
Broncos,
Raiders. See,
Raiders,
easy. Oh, AFC North. This one could be interesting. All right. Ravens,
Ravens,
Bengals,
Bengals,
Steelers,
Steelers,
Browns. Yep.
Browns. We both. Hey, the Browns are a playoff team. If we both put them at 4, that's
That's I wanted to put the Steelers at 4, but it's just I you cannot bet on Mike Tomlin having a bad record.
I
I
agree.
mean, it's possible all 4 teams make the playoffs.
I agree.
It's possible. I don't think it'll happen, but it's possible. Um, okay, AFC South.
We're probably the same on this too.
I was gonna say Texans,
Texans,
Jaguars,
Jags,
Colts,
Colts,
Titans. Yep.
Titans.
Easy. Okay, here's where it's gonna get interesting. NFC East. Cowboys.
Philly,
You got Philly? Okay. I got Philly at 2.
Washington,
Okay. Commanders.
Dallas,
And then
the G-men.
Giants. Yeah,
The
they're bad. They're
G-men.
bad. I'm sorry. I hope they come in last place so you can get a quarterback to throw the ball to neighbors next year.
Yes, you tell me in the comments where realistically you had the Giants finishing in this division. I want to know. Maybe above Washington, but no, not going to happen.
All right, we can skip this next division.
Oh, no, this is big.
All right. Clearly, I'm picking the 49ers in the West.
Me too.
Okay. 2, LA.
Rams,
Seahawks,
Seahawks,
Cardinals.
Cardinals. It hurt me to do it, but you know what? You
They're,
know what?
they're better than Arizona. We'll see. Hopefully, Marvin Harrison isn't as
You know
good as
what
you
the
think.
key is?
He looks good. Puka is the man. All right. NFC North. Here we go. Packers.
Detroit,
Yep. Detroit.
Packers, Bears.
Bears. Vikings. I hated not putting the Bears in last place because they're always last place in my heart. But the Vikings are so bad this year.
Dude, well, they
Uh,
lost McCarthy. I'm like their fourth.
yeah, I think the Bears come in last if the Vikings keep their quarterback. All right, NFC South, probably the least exciting division. I got Falcons winning it.
Falcons,
Bucks,
Bucks,
Panthers.
Saints.
Oh, okay, and then I got the Saints in last.
All right.
I'm probably wrong. I would probably switch
Here's
if we.
what I want. I need you to write that down for me because I didn't make a note of that.
Okay.
So just give me that, and once we're done.
Oh, you want me to send you my order when we're done?
Yeah, I mean, I could probably remember it, but
Well, it's the same for most.
I don't want to misquote you.
No, you're good. Okay, there we have it.
That's a wrap.
That's it.
So
So we
we'll see
have
you guys. Yeah,
exactly. So we have exactly like 20. We have almost like 30 hours until a football is kicked off in that new weird kickoff formation, and we start the season.
from here for us, but for you guys, it's going to be different because I got to edit this shit.
Oh yeah, because yeah, the I mean that's as of filming, not as of release of this episode. So
Hopefully, it's out tonight. I need,
you can
but
do it, James. I believe in you.
typically we will release episodes on Wednesday, so you have a day before the first
Mhm.
game. Some jackass had to have an anniversary. Happy
I was
anniversary.
gonna say, yeah, somebody had the bad fortune of being married on that particular day.
Happy
Uh,
anniversary. How many years are you?
the 7 years married. We've been together for about 10.
7 years, man.
Yeah,
I'll be sick
goes
of you
by
by week
fast.
7.
I know, right? You're done by week 7.
Yeah.
I know. Oh, now this is our first anniversary with 2 kids, so we'll see how much longer it lasts.
And this is your second season with NFHell,
Right.
right?
I was a guest on the first
Of
season a
course,
couple
but as a regular,
as a regular. Anyways, well, thank you everybody for watching. Make sure to check out all of our fun content here on Lock 22 Productions. Also, fun thing, didn't talk about it. I'm doing a thing where I'm trying to collect every jersey in the NFL. So I'm letting you decide what I wear every week. You'll notice I wore lots of different hockey jerseys on Puck University, and I have lots of different costumes and stuff or what have you. I want you to pick what team's jersey you want me to wear next week. Put it down in the comments. Whoever we get the most votes for, I will rock their rag, even if it's the Bears. I do have a Bears jersey. I don't know when I would wear it except for this situation. So if you wanted to vote for the Bears, you can. Um, so that being said, get your votes in. Put in your picks. Who do you like? Who do you hate? Are we completely wrong with our takes? Please make sure to put it in our comments. It helps with engagement. Thank you to V8 for keeping Dames hydrated with nutrients. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I'm Gobo Moran.
James Marvs. Oh, before we go, hit the like and subscribe button, you guys. And please, if you see this posted on social media, please share the posts. We're trying to get an uptick in our subscriptions and views this year. We'll do it regardless, but sure helps with the engagement.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. That's a wrap. We will see you next week. Go football. Ah!
Fuck the Jets.